you celebrating here today?
It's our 2018 groundbreaking of the new art facility. Yeah, it should be pretty special. It's a good, been in the works for quite a few years now, and finally getting it going.
And the ground is stable underneath us now?
For the most part, we're standing, so that's always good. But there's a little bit of work we need to do to get it going. But for the most part, yeah, we're pretty good shape.
When do you think you'll be finished?
That's a good question. I'd say probably by the fall of 2019.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a wonderful day here, and what a fabulous site too. So, thanks for being here.
Yeah, well, thanks for working this out for us.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad it's not raining.
Yeah.
So it would have been pretty miserable if it was raining. But yeah, we're looking forward to a great day, and I think we're going to have a good turnout, and we're ahead of schedule, which was remarkable.
Amazing.
So.
Thanks. Beverage.
We've got a little champagne for our groundbreaking ceremony, a little hot cocoa, take the edge off, some fresh baked cookies straight from the kitchen.
From Tammy?
From Tammy.
Well, I think we're doing a groundbreaking for the new art facility, which we've all waited too long for. So, and thank you for taking my picture.
Well, what's been the holdup?
It's a good question. I think
bit different than the last time we went
timing
to the property.
all of a sudden became right. We found the right piece of property, and
we're standing in the building now, and the
membership was happier, and so
funding
it all worked out time-wise. So
this is a good.
I'm so excited.
A good idea for Spring Island.
This is incredible. It's a fabulous idea for Spring Island.
What would you do in an art barn?
What would I do in an art barn?
Yeah.
Create a lot of artwork. Of course, a lot of paintings. Have shows and exhibits.
And help other people.
Help other people, of course. Come on, Jeff.
Yeah, no, we're good. There's Jeff.
This is a dream come true. We've been talking about this for 10 years, really, about doing this, and finally we get to put a shovel in the ground, and today's the day. Yay. Yeah. And thank you for capturing it.
What do you got to say for yourself? Are you excited?
Are you doing of course. That's where I feel that. Oh, it's
Instead of Buford to get a little truck.
Yeah, sax player.
Yeah, and guitar player.
Okay, then we're gonna get something together. Late February, early March.
What do you think? What are you going to say?
Well, you'll hear in just a minute.
Oh, I can't wait.
This is a really important day. I'm very excited, and I think all of you are, and I think the membership and community is excited as well. This has been ongoing for some time. Obviously, for more than 25 years, art has become, or has always been, a very big part of Spring Island, and it made us very different. And I would say that the Chaffins, and especially Betsy Chaffin, had a lot to do with that, as you all know. In the early days, especially, the Trust once a month had the Visiting Artist Program, which kind of got things rolling. Over time, we had more and more members living here and getting involved in the arts. And about probably maybe more than 12 years ago, we started talking about building a new art complex. Because as most of you know, we were sharing the art barn with the Trust. The art barn is owned by the Trust. And there's been obviously many versions of that, and while we were sort of contemplating and talking and discussing the art barn, of course the art community just continued to grow. And I want to say thank you to Gig Hender and the art community, who probably 3 years ago really got started on, let's get this thing done. And I think they did a great job in bringing the community together. I was amazed in terms of the support for this. I'm not an artist, and we've got a lot of members who are not artists, but I think almost everyone got behind this. And what you're seeing here in this beautiful canopy of trees is where we're going to build this thing, and we're finally got approval, and we're going to get rolling. They're going to start clearing stuff next week. So it's an exciting time, and several people are going to tell you some things. So I'm going to bring Chris up next and let him talk to you for a minute.
Thanks, Barry. I want to take this opportunity to come full circle in a way with the dedication of this new facility here. While this is something that appears to be added on late in the development of this community, I think it's a great time to remind us all that in the original vision of Spring Island, Betsy saw that when we discussed having a community within a nature park, that while we focused on the nature park and Betsy was focusing on that, she was also focusing on what it meant to be community and to have community. And through her life experiences, she understood that both art and nature had the purpose of helping us as individuals in very busy lives to slow down and learn to look at where we are and what's around us in new ways. And so in some ways, art and nature are really two sides of the same coin, because in both cases, we're helping people see the world in new ways and in ways that help us relax, to find ourselves, and really have a more fulfilling life. With that, Betsy started the Visiting Artists Program under the umbrella of the Spring Island Trust in 1992. And Wes Frazier, who at that time wasn't a very well-known artist, was the first visiting artist to be part of the program. From the visiting artist, she then looked at how does the community embrace and take in an art program. And so she started an art committee that became the name of the Nature and Arts Committee. And to her credit, she understood how to set up a committee, how to empower a group, and to get that going, and then let that group take over and start that organic process. So one of the things that we really want to keep in mind when we look at what's happening here is this was a seed, while planted by Betsy, has been nurtured and watered and fertilized by the community and by the people, some here and some who are not here. And it's that organic process of letting it grow in a way that you can see what the community wants, how it responds to it, and also being open-minded enough not to have a preset idea about where you think it should go. The role of the trust staff, quite frankly, were just make sure we didn't get in the way while they were growing roots and starting things. So we did not play the lead, but we just became another support person to help do what they were doing. And that organic growth and ownership is what characterizes Spring Island, and again, it's the volunteerism. So this really is created by the community and a product of the community. And for it to continue to thrive, we hope that this then opens the doors that more and more people continue to take the time to learn about the arts. Because if you want to learn about how to look and enjoy nature, the first way to do that is to participate in an arts program. So I've always been appreciative. I thank the committee members who let me be on the sideline and vicariously enjoy things, and they did all the hard work. So kudos to y'all. Thank you. And I'm not even going to try to name names because there's so many people that have been involved with this. Sometimes somebody just came in with an idea that helped keep things going. So thank you very much.
One of the people that I do want to thank is Chris Marsh and the Trust in particular, and the leadership of the Trust, because this magnificent piece of property once was owned by the Trust. And as we were looking to find a place, hopefully for a new home for the art facility, we really didn't have a great spot for it that was centrally located. And we went to the Trust, and Chris and some of the people who were managing that process said, why don't you go look at this piece of property? We looked at it, we loved it, and the rest is history. It seems like a simple thing. 28 years, art is so important to Spring Island, but sometimes simple things are hard to do. And it took a lot of work by a lot of people to get to the final vote that you all did last spring to approve this project. I thank you all for the support that you've given to this project. And although primarily the building will be for the arts, this magnificent piece of property, I'm sure, is a place where you'll want to bring your friends and your children, and you'll just want to walk over here and enjoy it. And I know the imagination that exists in our membership. I will not be surprised at all to learn that somebody's going to have a wedding over in this facility or some social event, and it will be available for those things. I'm so happy that Barry is managing this project, because there's no one better than he and the team that Dan has to manage this project, and I'm excited to get, after 28 years, to finally see fruition and it starts. And now I'd like to turn it over to my ex-partner, but still friend, Dan.
I'm glad I'm your only ex. Welcome everybody. It's extremely exciting to be here today. After 3 years and realizing that we actually had an art program when I took this job as general manager. I don't think that was part of the interview, but nonetheless, what it is a competitive advantage to every community anywhere. We are very unique, and as I talk to my colleagues and friends throughout the country, they kind of scratch their heads and they don't get it, they don't understand. And most people, when they come to Spring Island, they don't get it either until they come here and spend the lives that you do. So this is a relevant and important new amenity that we're going to construct. It's going to be a hub for our community, a place for us to gather like minds and enjoy each other's company and create wonderful, lasting memories with our families. But we couldn't do this without the extraordinary team that we assembled about a year and a half ago.
And they're standing to your right, and I just want to recognize them. Bobby Eckstein was on our board at the time, and she was directed as our chief for the Art Facility Review Committee. And her, along with Bonnie Mason, Lark Smith, and Jeff Lorenz were our member representatives. Alice joined the team this spring when she took over for the Art Facilities Committee. And then all along the way, obviously, Deb Gerlach and Pam Burkell, who has been instrumental in putting this whole thing together. So I just want to give them all a big round of applause for everything they're doing. We're also fortunate to have a great design team. It takes a lot of pieces, as you know. Any of you who build a house here on Spring, it can be a long and painful process, as we went through the permitting process. But we hired Mike Tootin of Tootin Construction Services, and he has assembled a great team for us, and he is leading the way. And he's leading the way for us. But additionally, Ansley Manuel with Manuel Studios. Ansley, if you'll raise your hand. She's our lead designer, and she's done a dynamic job. All the designs that you've seen, the models that you've seen, she was instrumental in putting that together. Her inspiration on kind of a semi-modern with natural colors on the color scheme of the building really came into play, along with inspiration from Joel Newman, who most of you know, with Thomas and Dinziger. I don't think he can be with us today. Joel, he's back there. The collaboration with that group was just extraordinary. Just to sit in the room and just to listen to them come up with great ideas. Joel was on the front end of a design project, and we were able to kind of pull him back in and help with the vision of, the tall windows in the back and this beautiful view. Also is Stuart Veach. He's with Morton Buildings. Funny enough, I saw a Morton Building truck, who was a company I used up in the mountains, drive by. I'm like, a Morton Building, what's he doing here? He was building the Lancaster's farm, and Morton Buildings had actually built our equestrian center. And as a pre-engineered building, it works out really well for us. It makes it very affordable. And last is Alan. I don't know where he went. He's all the way in the back. He's hiding. Alan Glassberg, who actually works as our in-house landscape design, is helping with this project as well, and has done a great job. And the way you walked in here was his idea of working through the trees without losing any of what we have. So I'd like to give them all a big round of applause too. They've worked really hard for us. And last but not least are the two guys on my left, who I basically just delegate everything to, because I do everything else. Jay and Douglas, who are just, Johnny on the spot for everything. I want to thank them, as well as Deb and Pam. and Ron and Ashley for putting everything together for today. Thank you guys for doing this on short notice, but that's usually how I do things. Right? All right. Thank you all, and I know this is going to be fantastic. And I'm going to turn over to Barry for one last thing, and we're going to do the dig. Why is that now? Actually, that's now, I think. So everybody. Okay, yeah, absolutely. So the easiest way to say this is obviously your southern view, and where you're sitting right now is actually where the administrative or small studio building is going to be. That's a 1,800 square foot building. It's going to house Pam's office and kind of a small gathering room, and then two back studios. And then there'll be like this little corridor that comes through here, open, not covered, and this is where basically the entrance to the studios will begin. And then the red balloon down there is a western perspective or northern perspective. And there's one behind you in each corner as well, and that's your main building. And then just beyond the red balloon will be the kiln shed. But what you're looking at is this tree will be in the backyard. So we're not going to lose this tree, that's why it's wrapped. And that's as you look out, the live forest, and it's just going to be extraordinary. And that was, do we turn it north or we turn it west? And it was, Joel said, look, this is the way it's got to be, along with Alan said. If we turn it just a little bit, you're really going to be able to enjoy this beautiful spot. So, anyway, what's that? That's it? Well, I said it's okay. All right, diggers, shovels in hand. We're going to invite everybody up with a white hat up. Come on. All right. I'll take my hat off. There we go. All right, on three. 1, 2, 3. Great job. Nobody hurt their wrist or anything. All right, congratulations to all the members at Spring Island. This is going to be a wonderful, wonderful future for us. And thank you so much for coming today. And we'll have shuttles back to the parking area if you'd like. Otherwise, stick around and enjoy some refreshments. And have a great day. Thanks, everybody.
Bill, start.
It's a lovely spot. I think everybody in the island will be inspired to be an artist except me.
Really, what a spot though. This is just unbelievable. This particular
It has just been here. That's what amazes me. Look at, that tree.
It's incredible.
Opportunity, I think, that did not get developed there that we thought would be really cool is the ravine. We always thought could be developed like the ravine out here on the island, which is all native plants. And we actually talked about the possibility of putting like a very small little check dam or something in there to create a little bit of a collection, a little bit of water pool that you might put water plants and stuff in. So they didn't want to do that. But
as far as how do we select the site, this was part of the trade between the Low Country Institute, which was the owner at the time, and included the adjacent dump site. And so the dump area should not be under the LCI covenants. That needed to be community space. This property accompanied it. We traded this for the most of the POA reserve lots that are down at the south end of the island, and most people assume are part of the nature preserve, but they're not. And they really didn't function well as reserve lots because they did not adjoin the golf course or a pond or the marsh edge. So this particular area seemed much more valuable and useful to the community. Now, in terms of how we selected where the building should go and why this might be a good site, it's not evident from going around the perimeter of the property, but I knew that there was this grove of live oaks in the center of the property. And you'll notice that where the building is located actually sits on the edge of a very old field that has grown up in pines and laurel oaks. And so the buildings are set in the area that used to be Old Field 50 years ago. And it looks out over the live oaks that have been here for 100 years. So we're reestablishing the boundary that used to happen here 50 years ago in the way we put in the buildings.